This is Modern Service Mastery, Business School with boots on. Real lessons, real talk, and real growth for the residential service industry. Let's get to work.
All right, let's dive into this. Safety. This isn't just a policy or something written on a bulletin board. It's the backbone of any job site, whether we're talking about installing roofs, pouring concrete, or even something seemingly simple like painting a wall. Safety matters because, well, it's got consequences. Real, life-altering consequences.
Yeah, and those consequences sneak up on you, right? Like you think, oh, I'll just skip safety glasses for this quick one, and boom, shard of stone in your eye. Now you're half blind for a week, maybe longer.
Exactly, Jake. And beyond the personal injuries, there's this ripple effect. An injury affects the worker, their family, their crew, the company's reputation, you name it. I've seen firsthand how a lack of safety can derail an entire project. Want to hear about one?
Oh, I bet there's a good one. Hit me.
So a couple years back, I was called in to help a struggling site. They'd been hit with one too many worker injuries and morale was in the gutter. I mean, the crew wasn't just tired, they were scared. So I ran a safety audit. And wow, no PPE compliance, trip hazards everywhere, and not one safety meeting. They were just rushing to get things done.
Sounds like a disaster waiting to happen, man. What did you do?
Well, first step was setting a new standard. We started with simple things. Daily safety huddles, peer accountability, creating that culture where everyone's invested in looking out for each other. Within a few weeks, things shifted. Injuries dropped to 0 in 2 months. Productivity, it skyrocketed, all because we put safety first.
That's huge. But let's be real here. It's easy to talk about culture. It's harder to make it stick. Like, how do you get everyone to buy in?
Great question. Leadership plays a huge role. You can't just tell people to be safe. You got to show them. Wear your PPE, follow the protocols, and when someone slips up, use it as a teaching moment, not a lecture.
And I'd say throw some recognition in there. I mean, nobody's going to complain about a coffee gift card if they're doing things right. Call it positive reinforcement or whatever. It works.
Absolutely. And the key is making safety everyone's responsibility. It's not just the crew leader's job. If you see something unsafe, say something. That's how you turn safety from a rule into a culture. When the whole team's on board, looking out for each other.
Yeah, because if you're just relying on the boss to call it out, something's getting missed. And let's be real, most of us in the field aren't trying to harp on each other. But when it's about safety, man, that's got to be the one thing we don't cut corners on. Ever.
Totally. Safety isn't just about rules. It's about respect for yourself, your team, and the craft. It's about showing up every day knowing you've got everyone's back and they've got yours.
You know, it's funny. After all that talk about culture and accountability, here's what gets me. Why do we always find excuses to bypass it? Like, we know the risks, right? But then it's, I don't need the harness today. Or, this'll just take a second, no need for gloves. And then boom, one bad decision, and now you're sidelined for 2 weeks. Why do we do that to ourselves?
You're right, Jake. It's funny how we justify it in the moment, right? But shortcuts add up. They're like little time bombs. And when they blow, the impact is huge. That's why pushback on safety isn't just frustrating, it's dangerous. As leaders, it's on us to address that pushback head on without losing trust.
Totally. Like, I had this guy on my crew, and this was years ago when I was still green as a crew leader, and he's all about, I don't need gloves, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm like, dude.
Let me guess, he learned the hard way.
Oh yeah. So, we're on this job, cutting some bricks, and out of nowhere, I hear him yelp, "Fa!" I turn around, effing, blood everywhere. Turns out he nicked his hand. Could have been worse, but we had to shut down everything, get him to the clinic, and, no joke, we lost 2 days of work just trying to get the site back to speed.
Jake, that's the kind of story that gets people to pay attention. Real consequences, real blood. And that's one thing folks overlook. Personal stories stick. If someone's resisting, sometimes the best move isn't laying down the law, but sharing a moment like yours to make it real for them.
Absolutely. You drop that, hey, I've been where you are vibe, and they're way more open to listening. Like, yeah, this isn't just the crew leader laying down rules, this is for real.
Right? And you combine that with firmness because safety's got to be non-negotiable. You can't falter. If someone pushes back, you've got to meet it with respect, but hold that line. It's not about slowing people down. It's about keeping them in one piece.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. A 10-second delay to throw on a face shield is way better than 6 months of recovery from getting a grinder disc to the face.
Couldn't agree more. And let's not forget where a culture shift can really help here. When the whole crew holds each other accountable, it's not just one guy saying no shortcuts. It's everyone saying, hey, let's not mess this up. Safety becomes second nature when everyone's speaking the same language.
Okay, Mike, let's show how to do it. I'm the crew leader, you're Dave, my newbie. I notice you're working a gas-powered trimmer without ear protection.
Got it, go.
Hey, Dave. Dave, you forgot your ear protection, man. That thing's loud enough to wake up the whole neighborhood.
I'm fine, man. I've been doing this for years. I like to hear what's going on around me anyway.
Yeah, and you'll be hearing that ringing in your ears for the rest of your life if you keep it up. Trust me, I've got a buddy who skipped Ear Pro for a few years. Now he cranks his TV up so loud his neighbors think he's running a nightclub. Put him on. Future Dave will thank you.
All right, I get it. I'll grab my muffs.
10-4. Keep those ears sharp. You'll want to hear the boss when he's giving you a raise.
Yeah, good stuff, Jake. Good stuff. Let's quickly do one more. You see me about to use a grinder without a face shield.
Hey, I see you're about to grind that piece down. Make sure you've got your face shield on. I know it seems like overkill, but I've seen what can happen without it.
Man, it's just a quick grind. I don't need it.
I get it. We're all trying to move fast, but a few seconds now can save you months of recovery, or worse. I'm looking out for you, man.
All right, fair point. Thanks for the reminder. You're doing your job. I respect that.
Yeah, good one. If you're firm and consistent with everyone, people respect that. What else you got, Mike?
So building a safety culture and addressing pushback takes us a long way, but there's more to it. Once you've got the team holding each other accountable, the next step is creating proactive safety habits and being prepared for those moments when, despite all the planning, incidents still happen. Let's talk about how we handle that.
Yeah, and it's not just about fixing it after the fact. It's how you stop stuff before it happens, like those little things that people skip. Stuff that honestly can mess you up big time.
Exactly. Let's talk PPE first. Personal protective equipment. It's your first defense. If I had $1 for every time I saw someone skip ear protection or gloves because it slowed them down, I'd probably have a much smaller insurance premium.
For real. And it's stuff like harnesses too. Like we all think we're invincible until gravity reminds us we're not. And those body mechanics, man, we've got to protect what keeps us moving. Knees, backs, you lift wrong, and suddenly you're out for months.
Couldn't agree more, Jake. Smart movement, smart planning, and here's the kicker. You've got to preach it, live it, and drill it into the everyday routine. Take it seriously. There's no, I'll fix it later. If everyone's on the same page, they'll start catching themselves before mistakes happen.
Totally. Like I've got this buddy who started using a safety scorecard. Instead of waiting for something to go wrong, he tracks what's going right, who's wearing their gear, housekeeping around the site, stuff like that. Keeps it positive,
That's a solid system. And speaking of systems, when something does go wrong, what's the first step? You stay calm. Panicking turns a small issue into chaos. Take that beat to assess before you react.
Yeah, and communication's another big one. Like, don't just assume someone's handling it. You need clear roles. Who's calling first responders? Who's keeping the site clear? Everyone's got to know their part ahead of time.
Right. I've seen crews freeze because nobody had a plan. That's why drills matter. Practice makes perfect, even when it comes to emergencies. If folks know what to do, they'll do it faster, safer, smoother.
And document everything. Snap photos, write it down, whatever it takes. Because when insurance calls or OSHA shows up, you've got to have your facts straight.
And more than just covering your bases, that documentation turns into a lesson. Every incident teaches you something. Use it to prevent the next one.
Yeah, like a here's what not to do manual for the crew. Nobody's perfect, but man, you can avoid a lot by learning from what's already happened.
Absolutely. And Jake, that's the point. This whole conversation comes back to one thing: respect. Respect for safety, for your body, for your team, and for the craft. When we lead with that mindset, we're not just checking boxes, we're safeguarding futures.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. Look, safety's not glamorous, but neither is being sidelined because you didn't take it seriously.
So true. And to everyone listening, remember, whether you're the crew leader or just the new guy on the site, safety starts with you. Lead by example, hold each other accountable, and make it part of the DNA of your day-to-day work.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, nothing's more important than making sure you and your crew get home safe. It's not just about the job, it's about life.
And with that, I think we've covered it all. Stay sharp, stay safe, and post your go-to lines for keeping people wearing PPE and staying safe. Use #safety.
Oh, and don't forget to celebrate those small wins. You're not a machine. Be kind to yourself and enjoy it, okay? You earned it.
Well said, Jake, and that's all for today, folks. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to Modern Service Mastery Business School with Boots On. If this episode helped you lead, grow, or think differently, share it with your crew and keep the momentum going.